Good morning. Good morning. Good Sunday morning. There we go. All right. I'm just doing all the little things to get us live, all the places that we want to be live. So give me just a moment. All right. One more. Okay. Let me pull this up on my phone. Let's see here. Where are we? Oh, goodness. It's not there. So hold on a second. There we go. Oh, oh, goodness. It's not there. So hold on. All right. One more thing. Thank you for your patience. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. So I hope you are doing well this morning. And as I'm waiting to see who all is going to show up this morning, I'll have to share. I had two things that happened to me this morning that were intriguing, or they were for me anyway. One of them was I was just starting to put on my makeup, and because I was going to be on here with you guys, and then I'm just a makeup kind of person. To show up without makeup feels very odd to me, and I do it occasionally, right? And so I was looking at different things, and I came across this tutorial about some makeup techniques and stuff, and I got lots of time, right? So I start playing with it and everything, and then I realized so much time has happened, and then I've made a mess of because the tutorials always look so good now. And the funny thing is, I'm a hairstylist. I do makeup, I do all kinds of things, but it's always intriguing to me is I want to be the person that is open to new thoughts and new ideas, no matter what it's about, right? And so I decided, I haven't seen that technique exactly that way. Let me try that. Um, it was not that good. So my makeup, to me, my eye makeup looks really weird. So if it does to you too, thank that YouTube tutorial that showed me this new technique that's not accurate, I will say, right? So anyway, and then the other thing that happened to me this morning is while I was doing this tutorial and I was doing all these other things as I'm sitting there, I'm listening to something and I was watching this tutorial, right? And this idea popped in my mind for this amazing affirmation and journal prompt today. Amazing, right? And I was busy and I thought, I've got to do this right here so that I don't lose track of what I'm doing. And I'll remember it. I didn't take my own advice. I could have put it on a voice note. I could have written it down on a little piece of paper, found a piece of paper, right? I didn't. I thought, there's no way I won't remember that. So when I came to do the affirmation in the journal prompt, did I remember it? No, not at all. So it'll probably come to me another time. So obviously, I look at there are no accidents. So the fact that I didn't remember that affirmation and journal prompt when I got in front of the computer to actually type it out means that it wasn't meant for today, right? Oh, gosh. But like I said, even I sometimes don't take my advice. And I got a Christmas present yesterday from one of my clients. And let me see if I can turn this where you can see on the inside it says Cat Mama. Because right now we don't have any dogs, we only have cats. And And I was on, so this is my new mug that she got me, and I'm so excited about it. I had to wash it immediately. Yesterday I used it, and then I washed it and used it again today because I'm so excited. It's one of my colors that I love, and all the little kitty cats. So it was such a thoughtful gift that I was so excited, and I can't wait to send her the thank you card. So I don't know if you're one of those people or not, but I am. When somebody, especially when it comes to clients and things like that, somebody gives me a gift, whether it's money, whether it's a physical thing or whatever it is, I always send out thank you cards. And for whatever reason, I love the thank you cards that you get at Walmart that are for wedding thank you cards for the bride to send out. They just look really cool. They don't really have anything that says it's a particular season or whatever. And that way I can send out thank you cards. Anytime someone does something for me like that, I like to send out a thank you card. And there are times that misses me, and I will make a list of the people and all that stuff. And then I might completely neglect one of them without intentionally doing so. So if you've ever given me anything and I didn't send you a thank you card, it's not because I didn't love it. It's because my list did not get taken care of. Just want to say that too, right? But typically I send out thank you cards for anybody, especially clients that are past clients, current clients that gift me something, because anytime somebody thinks enough to send you something, I think it's wonderful to send them a thank you card saying, I appreciate you. And I like sending a card in the physical mail, not just, and maybe that's just I'm old school because I'm older than a lot of you guys. And maybe that's it. But there's just something about, have you ever been, you received a card in the mail and it just, for whatever reason, it just warms your heart. And it may warm your heart when you get it in an email too. But something about the physical card coming in the mail to me feels so amazing. And since I love it so much, I just assume, and you know what they say about assuming, but I just assume that others feel the same. And so I really like to let people know how much their thoughtfulness meant to me. So anyway, let me take another sip as you peruse and look at my beautiful cup. All right. And so the title for today's live is Unconditional Love. Is it possible? Now, when I'm talking about unconditional love, I'm not talking about your partner, your spouse. I'm talking about you. Can you unconditionally love yourself? What do you think? Can you? Unconditional love is not always easy, right? Especially for yourself, because we see our flaws more than anyone else, really. The only reason they can see our flaws is because we can see them first. We feel them. We kind of, our vibration about them emanates out. Now, there are people that can come into our lives that can just really, really trigger us. And in relationships, that where they not only see our flaws, they want to push our flaws on us all the time. And that begins because of the way we feel about our flaws. Let that sink in a moment. We attract people into our lives that mirror how we feel about ourselves. And I've had some relationship that stings big time to think that I attracted those people because of who I felt that I was at the time. So it hurts, but it's so true. And when you think of it that way, whew, the power we have within to change how we feel and then change the people that start coming to us. Because when you can get to this unconditional love of yourself, whew, there's not a person that's going to pop in your field of vision that doesn't support that. Hold on a second. Let me go ahead. I realized I haven't even put it up there on the thingy for you. So give me a second. Oh, what the heck? Where's my J? What is that J there for? Just overlook the J. Oh, I know what it is. That's the J for the journal prompt. So let me add my J down here. Oh, goodness gracious. Anyway, just saying, right? All right. So our affirmation is I am loving myself unconditionally. I embrace all that I am with kindness, compassion, and endless love. Now, isn't that what we want other people to do for us? We want other people to love us unconditionally. We want them to be kind and compassionate and loving, right? And a lot of times we're wanting that from them because we're not giving it to ourselves. And we had not too long ago, one of our affirmation and journal prompts was all about being, we're the one for ourselves, right? Instead of looking for someone who is going to rescue us or give us all the attention that we need and all the things, right? We're that for ourselves. And so in that same thread, right? We have to love ourselves unconditionally. Is it possible? Is it possible? Now, if you're here live, make sure you say hello and or as you get here, say hello and let me know that you're here. And then if you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay and then play along. Answer the question. Do you feel that you can love yourself unconditionally? Now it's a really tough thing a lot of times because we do something that we feel is stupid or we're not moving forward in our process of business or life like we thought. Maybe we are still looking at something that we did when we were young that maybe wasn't so kind. You know, thinking of that, and I have forgiven myself for this so many times. And this is the silliest thing because kids are silly, right? Kids do weird things. So when I was young, I was probably, gosh, I'm trying to think. We moved from the house when I was in the third grade. So when I was in the second or third grade, there was a little girl that lived across the street, and she was younger. And she would follow me around everywhere, and it irritated me so bad. She was sweet and I liked her, but there was times I just wanted her to go home, instead of following me around. And there was a couple other little kids in the neighborhood that felt the same way, right? Now, I do not know why, other than I was just a kid and I was tired of this little one that I felt like that I had some kind of responsibility to make sure she was okay and what's she doing and all that stuff. I just wanted her to go home. And so, and I hate to admit this, and I don't remember if I have admitted this in public anywhere, but remember I was only in the third grade, second or third grade, probably third. And so some of my friends and I, we went out into the woods And this little girl kept following us, and we kept trying to get her to go home, and she wouldn't go home. She kept wanting to be where we were. And as an adult, I understand it. As a kid, not so much, right? And so we actually, I hate to admit this, my friends and I, there was 2 other girls, and I don't even remember their names, to be perfectly honest with you. And I don't remember the little girl's name either. But we ran away and left her in the woods. That's hard to admit. And I was only in the 3rd grade. How old would that make me? 8, something like that. But I did go back because I could hear her crying. And it made me feel bad. And I went back and got her. Brought her out of the woods. And when I'm saying the woods, it was not the woods like you would typically think. It was just this huge area behind our houses that had a lot of trees and stuff in there, but it wasn't like she followed us out into this massive woods where you could never find your way back. But she was younger than us. Now, whether she was a year younger or 2 years younger, I do not know. So maybe she was 6. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But it would have, if she had been just a touch older, she would have just said, oh, okay, let me go back this way. But she wasn't. And so I went back and got her, and I brought her out of the woods and into the backyard at my house. And I told her I was sorry, and I gave her a hug. And then she latched onto me even more, right? But the thing was, I did that as a child. And for a long time, years later, gosh, the guilt I felt for having done that. And I think it comes from, I watched movies, I watched things where people were being mean and bullying kids. No, I never bullied the little girl. I really liked her, but it was like, as the age I was, there was times I didn't want this little one. I just wanted to go play. But when I was able to get to a place where I forgive myself for having done that, then I could love myself unconditionally. So maybe there's something in your past, even when you were really little, that you did something or you said something that maybe you've never forgiven yourself for. And in the back of your mind, it may not logically show up as, I did that, now I feel bad. I did that, so I'm not deserving. But it can be something that simple or that long ago that holds you back in some way. So I invite you today to let it go. It's in the past. You cannot change a damn thing that happened in the past. You can only use it. I got a hair on my face, sorry. You can only use it as something to help you grow. And so today, adopt this affirmation. I am loving myself unconditionally, no matter what I've done in the past, no matter the thoughts, the actions, the feelings, no matter what has gone on previously in my life. Today, I take charge and I say, I love me just as I am. And I embrace all that I am with kindness, compassion, and endless love. Because until you can love yourself unconditionally, nobody in your life ever will. There's the power in knowing that is profound, that you can today decide that you can be your own best friend. And, one of my favorite books that I recommend all the time is by Michael Singer, and it's The Untethered Soul. And it is so much about how we treat ourselves, how we look at ourselves. And I implore you to begin seeing yourself as the magnificent human that you are. You're a child of God. You are here for a purpose, for a reason. Even if you don't know what that purpose or reason is, just know that you are. Even if it's to talk to somebody one day and change their lives, whether you know it or not. Because the thing is that we have conversations with people all the time, right? We can say things on social media, and we don't know who is affected by the words that we say. So I want you just to imagine today that somewhere, someone has seen a post or a live or a video, something that you've done on social media. And that one thing helped them somehow. And it could be just a tiny help. But oh my gosh, you have an impact, even if you can't see it. So begin today loving yourself unconditionally, that you are exactly who you're supposed to be right in this moment. And you have the power that if you don't like the things that are showing up in your life, you have the power to change it all. And it starts inside here and inside here. Love yourself unconditionally and embrace all that you are with kindness, compassion, and endless love. Because you're worth it. You're so worth it. And if you're having a hard time feeling that statement that you're worth it, it's time to really dig deep. And this is something that I help people with all the time. So reach out. Let's have a conversation. And maybe I can help you get a little bit closer to that unconditional love of yourself. I have clients. I have one client in particular that I'm thinking of in this very moment, a wonderful, wonderful woman. And when she came to me, she just wanted to lose some weight. That was all she wanted, wants to lose some weight. And as we started working together, we uncovered that she didn't like herself very much at all. At all. All the weight that was on her body was just a protection from her and from everybody else. And we started working together. And one of the interesting thing is, one of the things that I help with some people, depends on what their needs are, but it's the mirror work. And they look in the mirror and they tell themselves how much they love themselves, right? Or they tell themselves what a good person they are. Kind of like this unconditional love, right? And I didn't realize the extent of how much she didn't really like herself until we did this particular exercise. And she could not look in the mirror and say, I love you. She couldn't. She would cry and she would just say, can't do it. But after we worked together for a while, she not only could say, I love me in the mirror, but she could say it to other people. And she started just dancing around and just having this joy for who she is. And now it took a while for her to actually release the weight on her body, but she was releasing weight internally in her mind and in her heart for a while. And then her body caught up. Is she exactly where she wants to be right now? Maybe not. But is she on her path and ready to get there? Yes. And it begins with loving yourself unconditionally. And so if you, like my client, can't look yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, then start here and change the affirmation. I always say, if this affirmation puts the brakes on and you say, that's not me, then let's change it up a little bit. So if you're like my client and you cannot look in the mirror and say, I love you unconditionally, flaws and all, then you can say, I am beginning to love myself unconditionally. I love myself conditionally more and more every day. I am beginning to show myself kindness and compassion. However you need to rephrase this statement to better fit where you are in your life right here, right now, the better, right? So the affirmation, however you need to rephrase it. And for now, I'm going to do this one right here. But put this on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes. Put it on the mirror with a chalk marker. Put it on a paper on your fridge, wherever you're going to see it today, so that you were reminded, I am loving myself unconditionally. I embrace all that I am with kindness, compassion, and endless love. And remember that I am statements are so ultra powerful. That's why I really try, or let me rephrase that. I really work on creating more I am statements. Sometimes they're not, but most of the time I really, really want to give you an I am statement because I want it to be as powerful as possible. So when you say I am loving myself unconditionally, you're claiming that is who you are. And like I said, if it doesn't feel like that's who you are and you need to just kind of tame it down just a little bit, you can say, I'm beginning to love myself unconditionally. Because sometimes our subconscious mind will say, that's not true. And it'll tell you and show you all the things that make that not true. So we want to soften it up just a little bit because it can really adopt the idea that you're beginning to. It's not saying anything that it couldn't agree with. You're beginning to because you're doing this work. You're here, right? All right. So let's go ahead and grab the journal prompt. Hold on just a second. Let me look and see where we're at over here. All right. So our journal prompt. What does unconditional self-love feel like to you? How does it look to you? Unconditional self-love. So I would like to ask you, so let me take a sip of my coffee. When you're in a relationship, whether you're in one now or not, doesn't matter. You've probably been in a relationship, even if it's a relationship with a family member instead of a romantic partner, but a lot of people can see it more with the romantic partner thought, right? How do you want them to express their unconditional love for you? And, it goes back to the love languages, right? For some people, love languages are touch. I don't remember all of them. Kind words, gifts, service, doing things for you. There's I should have pulled out my book, The 5 Love Languages. So Oh, here it is. Hold on, hold on. Right there it is. Let me see if I can say what it is. If you haven't read this book, it's really good. Okay. Um, Words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, physical touch. So we usually have one of those is predominant in us, that that one thing makes us feel that our partner loves us deeper, right? Because that's our love language. So that's what we do for them, right? And so what I want you to do is just imagine. So you can just close your eyes for just a moment, and let me before keep your eyes closed. That's fine. But just think about when you have had a romantic partner in the past, and the things that made you feel the most loved by them. Was it words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, acts of service, that's doing things for you all the time, physical touch? What was the one thing that when they did that, you felt the most loved? And then I want you to figure out within yourself, right now with your eyes closed, how can you do that for yourself? So the words of affirmation, that would be these I am statements, these affirmations that we do here. Create some for yourself that would make you feel amazing, right? Quality time. That's spending some time with yourself, whether it's in silence or it's just reading a book, just being there, right? Just for what you want. Gifts. Now you could buy yourself some flowers. You could buy yourself something for Christmas, something little small. It doesn't matter how big it is. It's doing that for yourself, right? Acts of service. For when that pertains to yourself, maybe you, oh gosh, how would that translate? Acts of service. It would be acts of service for yourself. Let me think about this for a moment, right? I haven't looked at it this way, so let me think. Acts of service for yourself. Anybody that has an idea, you can chime in and let me know, because for whatever reason, I'm struggling with this one. Acts of service. Let me just go to that chapter. How about I do that? Page 97. Oh. Okay. So it may be, I advise people to do this when I'm helping them with their health stuff, because I started as a health coach, right? So one of the things that you could do for acts of service would be when you cook your meal, you set a plate, you set the table in a way that looks beautiful. Like if you've got flowers or if you've got candles, and you set the stage almost like you're doing it for your romantic partner, right? And so just set it up really nice, put things on the plate that's in a way that looks really nice, and then have time to just sit and enjoy your meal. That's an act of service, right? So find ways that you can do something for yourself like you would with your partner. And then the last one, what was it? Physical touch. That could be massaging your hands, putting lotion on your body. It could be massaging your feet. It could be just giving yourself a hug. There are so many ways that that will work for you as well. Showing unconditional love for you. So whatever your love language is, and I would say, and I'll make sure I put a link in the comments so that you can grab this book and the Michael Singer book if you're wanting to. I do have an Amazon store, so I will throw the link in there, and I do get compensation. It's not much, but I get a little compensation if you purchase the book from me. But you do not have to. You do not have to at all. But I love to share that with you so that you can if you choose. So, what does unconditional self-love feel like to you? And then write down 3 ways you can show yourself love and kindness today, no matter what. So I would love to know, what are the 3 ways you can show yourself love and kindness today, no matter what? One of the things that I'm going to do today is I'm going to, I've got a new workout routine that I'm playing with, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a service thing and going to AT&T to see if they can figure out why my watch is not working, because I feel naked without my watch on. And then what would be my other way I could show myself love and kindness today? I think taking the time to just sit in silence, because that a lot of times is the thing that really helps me to release and let go, and helps me to have different ideas and inspiration for the things that I want to do in my life. So I would love to hear what yours are. So now I'm going to go back to today's affirmation. I am loving myself unconditionally. I embrace all that I am with kindness, compassion, and endless love. And then today's journal prompt. What does unconditional self-love feel like to you? Write down 3 ways you can show yourself love and kindness today, no matter what. No matter what. So when you write down these 3 things, you make sure that you do them, because one of the things we talk about a lot is keeping our word to ourselves. That is a form of self-love too. Keeping your word to yourself. All right. So, like I tell you all the time, get your journal, your notebook out, write the date, the affirmation, and the journal prompt. And for this journal prompt, you can write down a lot of ways and then just pick 3. And that way you can come back and look later on and say, ooh, I didn't remember that I liked this idea. And then you can do that tomorrow. And then you can do one the next day. Because when you can do unconditional self-love for yourself, and maybe that's as simple as I drink more water. I give myself the grace to just be me. So put the affirmation on your paper or in your digital diary, whatever it is. I am loving myself unconditionally. I embrace all that I am with kindness, compassion, and endless love. And then the journal prompt. What does unconditional self-love feel like to you? Write down 3 ways, or as many as you can think of, that you can show yourself love and kindness today, no matter what. And then after you've gotten that written down, set a timer for 5-10 minutes. Today, if you could, 10 minutes would be beautiful. And just be in silence. And just breathe in and out. You don't even have to be thinking about what those are. Just focus on your breath. You don't have to have any other thoughts going on. So if you find your mind wandering about, just bring it back to your breath. And then when your timer goes off, just write. Do that for yourself today and just see what comes up. Oh, to give yourself unconditional self-love, you will find that you find more people coming to you that want to do the same. They want to love themselves and they want to love you. Because you are the one and you get to choose. Right? All right. So thank you guys for being here. I'm so excited to see you. And just as you watch the replay, put hashtag replay, or you can reach out to me privately and say, this is something that came up for me today. I love it when that happens too. So if you don't feel comfortable enough to post in the group or post in the comments, you can reach out privately and just share your thoughts. I always, always love to hear it. All right, guys. So I will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Yes. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Mwah. Love you guys.